Hi, I'm Bybreen and welcome back to today's episode where I'm dealing with Mercury Retrograde in Libra, which kicks off on September the 17th, and it will remain there for 3 weeks and will then go direct again in Libra on October the 9th. So when we're dealing with the planet Mercury, in terms of Greek mythology, Mercury was Hermes, who was the god of transitions and boundaries, as well as the messenger between the gods. And then in terms of Egyptian mythology, he was Thoth, and he was the god of knowledge and also the inventor of communications and writing. And so when we're dealing with the concepts positively, it's about communication, the exchange of ideas, language, commerce, where we do deals, where we are playful, where we are actually inventive, and how we can stay young at heart. So they are all the positive attributes of Mercury. The negative ones now are around deception and trickery, and where we are cunning, or we could receive these experiences. And the reason for this, in terms of Greek mythology again, was that Hermes is the son of Zeus and Maia, and he was born as a result of an affair between the two of them. And so when we're dealing with the concept of Mercury, we need to hold all of these concepts in mind. And so in terms of the boundaries that Mercury is able to transcend, we're dealing here with the conscious, the unconscious, and the superconscious. And by going over these different realms, it's about the insights that we gain as a result of this, and then being able to express these insights. Mercury can also act a bit like Pluto, and Pluto is about plunging into the underworld. And when we go into our underworld, that's where we deal with and we face our shadow. And so the shadows in our lives show up as problems, which some might say that's a really bad thing to happen, but actually it could be quite a good thing to happen. And the reason for this is because when we're able to see the issues in our lives, we're able to deal with them. So for example, if you're somebody who's controlling or aggressive in the area of your relationships, and the reason why it shows up there is because we're dealing with Mercury in Libra, you might then get a backlash as a result of that confrontation and that problem. One of the things that you can then ask yourself is, what is it that I need to master or learn in order to transform this situation? And so therefore the problem moves into being a solution. Why? Because you're able to see your shadow side, bring it to consciousness, transform it, and so therefore you're able to operate far more fluidly within your relationships. So Mercury is in Libra, and so when it's in the sign of Libra, which is ruled by Venus, we're dealing with issues of love and compatibility and harmony and justice and balance. And so therefore, ordinarily when Mercury is direct, it's about harmonizing and balancing the aspects of our mind. And so therefore it's about dealing with the feeling side of ourselves as well as the thinking side of ourselves. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it appears as if things begin to slow down in our lives. And some people associate it with problems in communication. Now, it's not necessarily that you will face problems in your communication, but it's more to do with the opportunity for you to stop and think and pause about the things that you want to say, so they come out in a way that's far more harmonious when you're dealing with people. And they could be, people within your private life, as your friends and your families and your partners, or in your public life. So it's an opportunity to pause and think about what it is that you're doing. It's also a chance to catch up on unfinished business or to complete that project. Or it's a time to pause, reevaluate, reflect on the plans that you want to bring into the world once the planet goes direct on October the 9th. So one of the things that you might experience going through this retrograde is that you become indecisive, which then throws off confusion for the people around you. You might be somebody who's quite fearful of self-expression, and the reason for this is because you might have been rejected before in the past, or you could be somebody who thinks far too much about what people think about the decisions that you take in your life. So the retrograde period over the next 3 weeks is for you to really pause, think about what it is that you want to express, chew over the facts, get to grips with that, and then when we move forward on October the 9th, you can then flow far more freely in your communications. As always, the planets affect us both personally, but also we're seeing it played out in the public world. And today, which is September the 16th, Jeremy Corbyn, who is the new leader of the Labour Party, has introduced a different format to Prime Minister's questions. And what has happened was, in today's session, Jeremy posed 6 questions that were sent in from the members of the public. And what had happened was that he invited people to email him, connect with him, to generate questions that they want him to pose to David Cameron. He got 40,000 responses, chose 6 of them, and so here's a perfect example of Mercury operating in a very harmonious way with Venus, because it's very much a sense of consensual leadership. Jeremy operated in a way where he went out and he collated information. He then disseminated the information within the House of Commons. What's going to be very interesting, particularly after Mercury goes direct on October the 9th, is to see whether this consensual style of leadership in terms of how politicians relate to us as citizens, whether that's now going to become the way that all politicians operate, and in terms of both the Labour Party as well as the Conservative Party. So that gives you a sense of what's happening in terms of Mercury, what he's requiring us to do. It's a time for us to go inwards, reflect, think, plan, complete, and then when we move forward in 3 weeks' time, we're able to flow far more freely. And so I'm going to leave you with a quote today by the doyenne of personal development, which is Louise Hay. And her quote is, "I am the loving operator of my mind." So over the next 3 weeks, be loving to yourself, be loving to your mind, reflect, think, plan, then you're ready to move into action. So that's it for this week. If you've got any comments, pop them in the box below. We'd really love to connect with you. Also, if you found this video useful, or any of the other videos, share them with your network and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you again another time. Bye for now.